Can you briefly introduce yourself and explain to me your role in Pancate?
Yeah, my name is Klaus Pantel. I'm the director of the Institute of Tumor Biology here at the Comprehensive Cancer Center in Hamburg-Eppendorf. And I'm coordinating the Pancate Consortium for more than 1 year. And I'm also involved in some of the work packages as a work package leader.
My name is Matthias Löhr. I'm the professor of gastroenterology and hepatology at Karolinska Institutet in Stockholm, Sweden, and also a senior attending physician at the University Hospital, the Comprehensive Cancer Center, which is, intimately associated with the Karolinska Institutet. My role is the clinical coordinator for the entire project. That is to say, I was overseeing the study protocols for all of the clinical studies, most of them retrospective, but also some prospective.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe to the second question already, what is Pancate and what are its main goals, its aims?
The acronym was actually coined by me, and the D stands for diagnostic, initial diagnostic, that is in pancreatic cancer. And the overall goal really is to find the best liquid biopsy, that is the best biomarker for the early detection of pancreatic cancers.
And that's very, very important because pancreatic cancer is usually detected too late to cure the patients. In only 5% of the patients, we can detect it early enough to cure patients, but in most of the patients, we come too late. So the goal here is to develop a blood test that can actually detect pancreatic cancer at the very earliest stages, or even the precursor stages before it becomes pancreatic cancer. And that would allow the clinician to have a tool to really detect this tumor very early and then take it out by surgery and potentially cure the patients.
And this includes also diseases which are not yet cancer, but could lead to pancreatic cancer. Those diseases are, for instance, chronic pancreatitis, particularly in those who are smokers and have a newly developed diabetes mellitus. Those are patients with cystic lesions, so-called IPNM, which are for the most part benign cystic tumors. And then the large group of so-called individuals at risk, that is, patients who are not even yet patients, who have a family history of pancreatic cancer.
And then, so what's the funding agency and what's the scale of the project?
Well, the funding agency is the European Union within the Horizon Cancer Mission Program. And we are altogether a cluster of different projects. Ours is focused on pancreatic cancer. And we have actually a funding for 17 institutions, 17 partner institutions. And the funding is about 10 million euro for 5 years. And we try to develop this blood test within this 5 years. And we have also included patient advocacy group, which is very important to hear also the voice of the patients in our research adventure.
That's a lot of consortium partners. Do you know off the top of your head which countries are participating in Pancate?
It reaches all the way from Sweden with 2 participating centers, Germany, then Great Britain, France, Austria, Spain, all the way to Israel actually participating. So it's covering a broad, national variation in Europe, and also, I would say, the most advanced centers with experience in liquid biopsy.
Fantastic. Within these work packages, there are a lot of different aspects. So, for example, what specialties are included, like oncology, molecular biology, and so on?
Yeah, that's really the beauty of our consortium. We have, on one hand, the experts that are doing the experimental work. They come from different backgrounds, tumor biology, clinical chemistry, but we also have the experts doing the bioinformatic analysis, because we will get a lot of data and we have to analyze these data using artificial intelligence methods. So we also have experts on that.
And then we have also two participants, Ella, actually four, but I mean on two centers who are specialized in health economy and also in ethics. Because obviously, if you come out now with a test to measure something in this patient group, again, some of them not being patients, you raise a lot of issues, both from an ethical point of view, but also from a health economic point of view. For instance, whether it's really sustainable to do such a screening or measuring something in the blood of people, not even patients.
And just out of curiosity, when you're saying a minimally invasive blood test using liquid biopsy, what's how, as a layman, how would I have to imagine that? What's the goal?
Well, the goal is that we take a blood sample, which we call minimal invasive, because you still have to put a needle in your vein, but it's compared to a tissue biopsy where you have to put a needle into an organ somewhere in your body, is of course just minimal invasive. And what we are doing, we are looking in the blood for molecules, signals that are derived from such a pancreatic cancer that is released into the bloodstream. And we then look into the blood whether we can detect anything that is really released from the pancreatic tumor into the blood, whether it is really cells or just some component of cells, such as the genomic information or some proteins. And the beauty here is that we look at all aspects of whatever could be released by the tumor cells or by the surrounding microenvironment. And both the tumor response and the host response may give us an idea where the tumor is located and also to detect it very early in the pancreas. And that's really the beauty. I think there are very few consortia in the world that have looked in such a very comprehensive way with the experts from the different specialty at this and try to develop a blood test with all these different experts looking at different types of analytes in the blood, and then put all the information together. And maybe the combination of different parts in the blood derived from the tumor could tell us the truth and help us to detect this aggressive cancer very early.
Fantastic. I hope it's successful. Keep my fingers crossed for sure.